Little did she know, her life was on the brink of a dramatic twist the moment Clint Eastwood took a seat in her section. Mia cast a fleeting look at the clock perched on the diner's counter while she deftly adjusted her apron. The clock edged closer to 7 p.m. moment when the evening supper rush began to wane, inviting a more relaxed rhythm to wrap up her shift. The quaint diner, nestled just off the highway, served as a fleeting stop for most travelers, offering a warm meal before they resumed their adventures down the road. For Maya, it was her beacon of hope. At the age of 28, she skillfully navigated the challenges of raising her 6-year-old son, Jordan, all while dedicating long hours to her job. Every tip and paycheck found its way into Jordan's growing collection of school supplies and the upkeep of their humble apartment. With an elegant flow, she glided from one table to the next, her warm smile acting as a shield against the fatigue that threatened to overwhelm her. The regulars knew of her tale, or at the very least, fragments of it. Mia never sought out pity, yet there were a few who would quietly slip her an extra dollar or two whenever the opportunity arose. From a young age, she grasped the harsh realities of an unjust world, realizing that her only path forward was to keep moving ahead. Mia's gaze was captured by the gentle sound of the bell that hung above the door, its chime echoing through the air. She lifted her eyes to the sky, eagerly awaiting the approach of yet another weary wanderer. Instead, a man stepped into the room, exuding a serene assurance that made the atmosphere thick with anticipation. His rugged face was partly hidden beneath a hat pulled down low, and he donned jeans paired with a plain button-up shirt. In a fleeting moment, recognition washed over her the instant he turned his gaze in her direction. Clint Eastwood. The legendary Clint Eastwood. Her breath came in labored gasps. She found little reason to hold celebrities in high regard. Her time and energy were simply too precious for such pursuits. Yet, this stood apart from the rest. As they settled in for a nostalgic evening of vintage westerns, her late father would weave tales about Clint Eastwood, a figure who loomed large in the cultural landscape. Fleeting echoes of those moments danced in her mind, yet she found herself unable to linger on them. Mia knew it was her moment to attend to Clint, who had settled into a cozy corner booth. Yet, this was no ordinary customer. His calm presence sent her heart racing. Mia made her way to the booth, clutching her notepad and pen, inhaling deeply, and stepping boldly into the moment. As she drew near, she took in the delicate nuances that surrounded her. His hands, though bearing the marks of time, were resolutely anchored on the table. The brim of his hat cast a shadow over eyes that seemed to take in the world around them, quietly watching without giving anything away. As she came to a stop beside him, he looked up, his face a mask of neutrality, barely revealing any feeling at all. With a steadiness that surprised her, she began, "Good evening. How may I assist you this evening?" With a fleeting glance, he perused the menu before setting it aside, as if it were merely a prelude to the tale that awaited him. A perfectly cooked medium-rare burger, free of scallions, accompanied by a steaming cup of coffee. Quite straightforward. Mia captured the information, yet she couldn't shake off the subtle quiver in her hand. Clint's voice stopped her in her tracks just as she was about to leave. Did your evening unfold with a touch of excitement? In a moment of sheer disbelief, she found her way back to him. For most consumers, engaging in small talk held little importance, save for those who frequented the place regularly. With a subtle smile, she replied, "It's not too bad." Her words lingered, drawing me in further. His expression softened ever so slightly as he nodded, a subtle shift that hinted at deeper thoughts beneath the surface. Your rate is truly impressive. In a world like this, staying informed can be quite the endeavor. In a moment of hesitation, she found herself at a crossroads, her eyes fluttering as she pondered her next move. Did he bestow upon her a kind word? Could it be that Clint Eastwood, a figure she had only encountered through the silver screen, was watching her dedication unfold? She offered a polite smile before retreating to the counter to place his order, yet her thoughts were swirling with questions. What drove him to this quaint little diner tucked away from the bustling highway? With ample resources at his disposal, he could indulge in the finest dining experiences that California had to offer. Yet, there he stood, anticipating a burger just like any other wanderer, sipping water from a worn tumbler. Once the order was prepared, Mia gracefully carried the plate and coffee to his table. With a gentle touch, she gathered them around, and he cast her a fleeting glance filled with gratitude. He conveyed his appreciation with a simple sincerity. She replied casually, "You're welcome." Yet, an unshakable feeling lingered within her, as if this seemingly mundane exchange held a special significance. She noticed his calm demeanor as he took his time, allowing her to attend to other tables. He lingered in thought, sipping his coffee now and then, lost in a world of reflection. Yet, what could explain the feeling that he was not just there to partake in a meal? She felt an undeniable pull, a whisper of the extraordinary woven into the fabric of the evening, as his presence danced in the shadows of her thoughts. Mia busied herself with the rhythmic tasks of refilling coffee cups, clearing tables, and taking new orders, weaving through the bustling atmosphere with grace. Yet, every so often, her gaze would drift toward Clint's booth, drawn by an unseen thread of curiosity. He savored his meal with a relaxed rhythm, each bite taken with a sense of timelessness, as though the hours stretched endlessly before him. From time to time, their eyes would meet, and he would give her a polite nod, a wordless recognition that sent a delightful shiver through her. After savoring his meal, Clint offered his hand to her in a quiet, inviting manner. Mia drew near, her demeanor steady and poised, as she carefully wiped her hands on her apron. "Is all in place?" With a serene tone, she posed her question. "It is perfect," he declared, a subtle smile gracing his lips. "That was truly one of the finest hamburgers I have come across in quite some time." Surprised by the compliment, she let out a soft chuckle, a hint of amusement dancing in her eyes. "Ah, I shall convey this news to the cook. He will surely appreciate the tidings." Clint fell into a moment of quiet contemplation. He looked at her, and in the fleeting stillness that followed, it seemed he was studying her, not with a critical eye, but with a fascination that made her feel both vulnerable and intriguingly seen. He ultimately expressed, "You radiate a vibrant energy. A memory surfaces of a person I once encountered in my journey." Mia found herself at a crossroads, her thoughts swirling as she blinked in hesitation. Could this be seen as a form of praise? A tale from the past? She found herself at a loss. "Thank you," she said, a rosy hue spreading across her cheekbones. "I simply strive to journey through the day, just like everyone around me." He nodded, his eyes shimmering with a mysterious allure that she found impossible to decipher. "Isn't that the essence? I find myself struggling to get by." Before she had a chance to reply, he deftly pulled a few dollars from his pocket. He placed them gently on the table, accompanied by a neatly folded piece of paper. He rose to his feet and declared, "Keep the change, and take a moment to read this." Mia's eyes fell upon the note, her heart racing with anticipation. As he drew near the door, she uttered, "Thank you," though a flicker of doubt lingered in her mind about whether he had caught her words. The bell atop it chimed softly as he took his leave, and, in an instant, he was gone, leaving no sign behind. She lingered by the booth, her gaze fixed on the note, as though it held the power to set her fingertips ablaze. What might he have penned? What could possibly drive him to insist that she read it? Yet, the inquiries must be delayed for the time being. Though her thoughts danced with excitement, Maya was steadfast in her commitment, knowing there were still tables waiting for her attentive care. As Mia left Clint's booth, the diner had settled into a serene calmness. The room resonated with the soft melody of the jukebox, while the last patrons of the night savored their coffee and engaged in hushed conversations. With trembling fingertips, she clutched the folded note and tucked it away in her apron pocket, all while finishing the task of cleaning the table. She found herself adrift, pondering the roots of her unease. It was just a simple note, wasn't it? Mia quietly slipped into the back room, eager to gather her belongings once her duty had come to an end. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, she carefully unfolded the paper, each crease revealing a new layer of mystery. Her breath hitched as she delved into the opening lines. "Mia, while I may not be familiar with your history, I have witnessed something quite extraordinary during my short time here. Authentic strength. Witnessing your skill in navigating this place with poise, even under pressure, highlights the remarkable resilience that the unsung champions of our world embody. You evoke memories of someone profoundly cherished, a person who imparted the values of kindness and hard work to me. Your life story remains a mystery to me, yet I can see in your eyes the weight of many burdens you have carried. That is the spark that drives me to act, free from any constraints." Mia's hands quivered with anticipation as she pressed on with the reading. "I am leaving a small token for you to embrace as you wish, be it for your child, your future, or a cherished moment of respite. I hope it brings you a sense of peace and calm. You, like many others, are worthy of acknowledgement, and I see you." A note accompanied by a check was included. Mia's heart raced as her eyes fell upon the staggering sum of $10,000. In the dimly lit rear room, she settled onto the bench with a weighty sigh, her knees giving way beneath her as tears cascaded down her cheeks. While it certainly transformed my life, it wasn't just about the financial aspect. It was the eloquence of the words, the recognition, and the feeling that someone as esteemed and iconic as Clint Eastwood had paused to acknowledge her and express genuine care. The scene unfolded like a tapestry woven with threads of confusion for a soul often lost in the shadows. Yet, she found herself unable to unravel even one question as she sought to grasp its essence. What drives her purpose? What was she to do with this unforeseen treasure? Mia's thoughts swirled with feelings as she lingered in the back room, lost in contemplation for what felt like an eternity. The check in her hands felt like a scene pulled straight from a dream, almost too extraordinary to be real. Her kitchen counter was a mountain of expenses, a testament to the struggles she faced. The second-hand sneakers that her son Jordan had been wearing for what felt like an eternity weighed heavily on her heart. And the leaky faucet in their modest apartment, a constant reminder of her inability to fix what was broken, lingered in her thoughts. Clint's words lingered in her mind, even as the prospect of financial relief beckoned with the promise of this money. "You evoke memories of someone who holds a special place in my heart." Who was that person? What was it that drew Clint Eastwood, of all people, to see something special in her? It was not just the money or the note that moved her. It was the way he looked at her, filled with a respect and recognition she hadn't felt in years. Mia took a deep breath, wiping away the tears that had fallen. Understanding that she could no longer keep this secret, she reached out to her dearest friend, Tasha, who had stood by her side through countless trials. Tasha arrived at the diner in no time, settling into an empty booth directly across from Maya. Tasha raised her hands as Mia passed her the note, saying, "Please. Hold on. Hold on. Are you telling me that Clint Eastwood gave you this piece?" Mia's eyes, swollen and glistening from her tears, nodded in quiet acknowledgement. "The reason eludes me. I simply went about my business without any remarkable actions." Tasha quietly absorbed the note. Upon reaching the checkpoint, she let out a soft, subdued whistle. "Oh my goodness, can you believe this? It's just beyond absurd. Have you considered the possible consequences for both Jordan and you?" Mia acknowledged, her voice barely a breath above a whisper. "Yet, it feels somewhat contrived. What reason could there be for someone like him to take an interest in someone like me?" Tasha extended her hand across the table, gently taking hold of Mia's hand. "He watched you, Mia. He witnessed the very phenomenon that I have perpetually noted. Your unwavering determination and resilience are unmatched. You face life's challenges head-on without ever faltering. People witness that kind of resilience." Mia's eyes lingered on the check, her heart swelling with a mix of thankfulness and doubt. What if I am unworthy of it? What if this is a mistake? "It is not an error," Tasha declared, her voice steady and unwavering. "It is yours, by right. The question arises, what will you choose to do with it?" Yet, that was the question, was it not? Maya found it impossible to overlook the significance of this unforeseen gift, along with the burden it carried, even though she longed to revel in the moment. Mia lingered at her kitchen table long after Jordan had settled in for the night. In her hands lay the note and the check, a small treasure of promise and potential. The cozy apartment exuded a tranquil atmosphere, interrupted only by the sporadic creaks of the aging pipes and the gentle flicker of the soft light hanging above the table. Her thoughts danced wildly, flitting through 1,000 different directions. This sum could serve to settle Jordan's overdue rent, acquire a dependable vehicle she had long depended on, and open doors to possibilities she had only dared to imagine until this moment. The possibilities danced before her, igniting a spark of excitement, yet a shadow of apprehension lingered in her heart. Once again, She lifted the note, immersing herself in Clint's words for the 10th time. I hope it brings you a sense of peace and calm. People like you deserve to be seen and acknowledged. Your presence is clear to me. These words struck a chord within her, echoing deeper than she had ever expected. How many years had she dedicated to working double shifts, skipping meals, and putting in extra hours just to ensure that Jordan had enough to thrive? She had ventured to the brink of exhaustion so many times that the count had slipped from her grasp. And through it all, she felt a profound sense of invisibility, as if the world turned a blind eye to her triumphs and struggles alike. Yet, Clint Eastwood had taken note of her presence. He had witnessed her unwavering spirit, fierce resolve, and the battles she faced. In that moment, she understood that the issue transcended mere financial concerns. It was a tale woven from her unwavering belief that she was worthy of something extraordinary. Mia reminisced about her father, her unwavering champion before he departed from this world. He would frequently say, "Do not let the weight of the world bring you down, dear one. Your passion shines brightly." For the first time in years, she sensed the gentle flicker of the fire dance before her. With a notepad in hand, she started to weave her thoughts into words, capturing actions that could transform the world around her with the power of her resources. At long last, she might seize the chance to enroll in an accounting course, a dream she had long cherished but had been unable to chase because of the constraints of time and resources. Perhaps she could weave together a modest college fund for Jordan, granting him the chance to embark on a journey toward a brighter future. Yet, one thought echoed more powerfully than the rest, continuing the relentless cycle. Clint's act of kindness had woven a new thread into the fabric of her life, and she found herself drawn to the idea of passing that warmth on to someone else. Yet, the uncertainty lingered on. Mia embraced a flicker of hope for the first time in ages, even as the daunting path before her loomed large. In a cozy corner of the room, Jordan engaged in a lively adventure with his action figures, the worn-out carpet beneath him bearing witness to countless tales. Meanwhile, Mia savored her cup of coffee in the kitchen, the warm morning sunlight pouring through the window, casting a gentle glow on the scene. The check and note remained on the table, yet they had been carefully folded with precision. After a long night spent wrestling with her thoughts and unable to find rest, she arrived at a profound conclusion. She reached out to Tasha, who quickly stepped in with an offer to oversee Jordan for the afternoon. Mia expressed her need for some time to sort things out, and Tasha chose not to ask any questions. With a calm assurance, she declared, "You do what you need to do, girl, I have you." Mia made her way to the bank, the sun casting a warm glow as Jordan found his place at Tasha's home, settling in with ease. The check nestled heavily in her purse, its existence almost dreamlike, a reality too strange to fully grasp. A young woman, full of life and curiosity, stood behind the bank counter, her eyebrow arching in surprise as she beheld the sum before her. The narrator conveyed her intrigue with grace, remarking, "That is a significant deposit." Mia responded with a gentle nod, her smile modest. "It is a gift." Mia experienced a gentle wave of relief wash over her as the teller chose not to delve deeper. She felt a curious blend of emotions wash over her responsibility, intertwined with excitement, a sense of release mingling with relief as the check finally cleared. This money was not just for her. It was a chance to reshape her tale and offer Jordan a life brimming with purpose and joy. Mia journeyed to a nearby community college after leaving the bank behind. For years, she had wandered past its campus, pondering the thrill of stepping back into a classroom to absorb knowledge and grow. With a trembling heart, she stepped into the building, drawing closer to the admissions desk. A woman with a warm smile approached her, asking how she might lend a helping hand. Mia declared, "I am interested in enrolling," her voice unwavering, even as a nervous flutter danced within her chest. The woman in accounting offered a warm smile, signaling that you have arrived at the right place. "Allow us to begin our journey." Mia felt a renewed sense of purpose wash over her, a feeling she had long been without, as she meticulously completed the documentation. This journey transcended her own desires. It became a vivid testament to Jordan that the pursuit of dreams knows no bounds, no matter how unlikely they might seem. As Mia stepped out of the admissions office, a fresh idea suddenly illuminated her mind. What if this was just the prologue? Clint's act may have been more than just a gift. It could have been the spark that ignited a much larger flame. The changes in Maya's life unfolded like a captivating tale, as weeks gracefully turned into months. She skillfully balanced her evening classes at the community college with her shifts at the diner. Though the path was fraught with obstacles, she discovered a fresh resolve that propelled her forward. With a gleam in his eye, Jordan shared with his friends the exciting news that his mother was pursuing her studies in college. Mia couldn't help but smile every time she heard it. Yet, Mia's dreams reached far beyond her own life. Inspired by Clint's generous act, she decided to set aside a portion of the funds to create a small fund aimed at helping others in her community. Mia stepped in quietly, offering her help just as Clint's note had inspired her to do, whether it was for a single parent grappling with grocery bills or a student facing the challenge of buying textbooks. One evening, as the soft glow of the kitchen light illuminated the pages of her accounting textbook, Jordan gently pulled at Mia's arm, seeking her attention amidst the quiet study session. His large brown eyes sparkled with curiosity as he asked, "Mom, do you think the person will ever come back to the diner?" Mia halted, the idea surprising her unexpectedly. Could we ever witness a return of Clint Eastwood to the screen? Unbeknownst to her, the mark he left on her existence would resonate through the ages. She gently spoke, tousling Jordan's hair. "Perhaps, yet regardless of his choices, he will forever be woven into the fabric of our tale." And thus unfolded the truth of the matter. Maya felt the warmth of compassion in Clint's gesture, a beautiful reminder of the importance of seeing someone for who they truly are, and offering a helping hand when the weight of the world becomes too heavy to bear. It had reignited her belief in her own strengths, the possibilities that life holds, and the importance of nurturing connections with others. Mia felt a serene calm wash over her, a sensation long absent from her life, as she gently closed her textbook and readied herself for sleep that night. In the heart of her journey, she found herself not just enduring, but flourishing, embracing each moment with purpose and grace. Mia greeted the next stranger who entered her section at the diner with a warmth and elegance that felt almost magical, fully aware that even the briefest encounters could leave an indelible mark on a person's journey. Every small act of kindness, no matter how trivial it may seem, holds the power to create ripples that reach far beyond what we can see in the moment. Kindly take a moment to subscribe and share this tale with someone who might find a spark of inspiration in it today.